Engine repair. Engine repair is an essential skill for any automotive technician. The ability to disassemble, repair, and reassemble engines is critical for diagnosing and addressing issues in various engine components. This lesson will focus on the key aspects of engine repair, including the procedures for removing, disassembling, and reassembling engines, as well as repairing common internal engine components such as pistons, valves, and crankshafts. By the end of this lesson, you will have the foundational knowledge and skills needed to perform successful engine repairs, an essential aspect of the ASE certification test.
Removing, disassembling, and reassembling engines.
Engine removal and disassembly require careful planning and attention to detail to avoid damaging components. Reassembling the engine correctly ensures that it will run smoothly and efficiently once it is back in the vehicle. Step 1. Removing the engine from the vehicle. Removing an engine from a vehicle is often the first step in performing repairs. This can be a complex process depending on the vehicle, but the general steps are as follows. Prepare the vehicle. Raise the vehicle using a lift or jack stands, and ensure it is stable and secure. Disconnect the battery to prevent any electrical issues during the removal process. Drain all fluids, including coolant, oil, and fuel, to avoid spills during removal. Disconnect components. Remove any external components that may obstruct the engine's removal, such as the air intake, exhaust manifold, fuel lines, and hoses. Detach the engine from the transmission by removing bolts that connect the engine to the gearbox. Ensure the vehicle is in neutral or park before attempting this step.
Support the engine.
Use an engine hoist or crane to support the engine before removing the mounting bolts. Carefully lift the engine from its mount and remove any remaining bolts securing it to the vehicle.
Engine removal.
Once all connections have been removed and the engine is properly supported, carefully lift the engine out of the vehicle. Be mindful of surrounding components to avoid damage.
Step 2. Disassembling the engine.
Once the engine is removed from the vehicle, it is time to disassemble it for inspection and repair. Place the engine on a secure workbench. Ensure the engine is placed securely on an engine stand or workbench to avoid injury or damage. Keep the work area clean and organized to avoid losing small parts during the disassembly. Remove external components. Begin by removing external parts like the intake manifold, exhaust manifolds, cylinder heads, and timing belt or chain. Use a torque wrench and follow manufacturer guidelines to avoid over-tightening bolts. Inspect for wear and damage. As you disassemble each part, carefully inspect it for signs of wear, cracking, or damage. Common issues include worn piston rings, damaged valves, or cracked cylinder heads. Document the process. Document the disassembly process, taking notes or photos of the position and condition of each component. This will help during reassembly.
Step 3. Reassembling the engine.
Reassembling the engine correctly is just as important as disassembling it. Follow these steps. Clean all components. Clean all parts thoroughly before reassembling, especially the cylinder head and pistons. Use solvent or engine cleaner to remove any carbon buildup or debris. Replace worn or damaged parts. Replace any worn-out components, such as gaskets, seals, or piston rings. Ensure that all replacement parts meet the manufacturer's specifications. Reassemble in reverse order. Begin reassembling the engine by following the reverse order of disassembly. Attach the cylinder heads, intake manifold, exhaust manifolds, and other components as needed. Tip: tighten all bolts to the correct torque specifications to avoid damaging the engine. Check for proper clearances and timing. Ensure that all components are installed correctly and that clearances are within the manufacturer's specifications. Double-check the timing of the camshaft, crankshaft, and valves. Final inspection. After reassembling the engine, inspect all connections and ensure that no parts are left loose. Verify that all fluids are replaced and the engine is properly lubricated.
Repairing internal engine components.
Internal engine components are critical to engine function, and repairing or replacing them when they become damaged is essential for maintaining engine performance. Common internal engine components and repair methods: pistons and piston rings. Symptoms of damage: worn piston rings, poor compression, or excessive oil consumption. Repair process: piston rings may need to be replaced if they are worn or damaged. Replacing pistons requires removing the cylinder head and carefully disassembling the engine. Valves: symptoms of damage: low compression, poor fuel economy, or misfires. Repair process: damaged valves may require reconditioning or replacement. Valve seats should be inspected and reground to ensure a proper seal. Camshaft and timing components. Symptoms of damage: poor engine performance, timing issues, or noisy engine operation. Repair process: the camshaft may need to be replaced if it is worn. The timing chain or belt should also be checked for wear and replaced if necessary. Crankshaft: symptoms of damage: vibration, knocking, or engine oil contamination. Repair process: if the crankshaft is worn or damaged, it may need to be reground or replaced. Crankshaft bearings should be inspected and replaced if needed. Cylinder head: symptoms of damage: overheating, coolant leaks, or loss of compression. Repair process: the cylinder head may need to be resurfaced or replaced if cracked. Valve seals and gaskets should also be checked and replaced if damaged. Conclusion and recap. In this lesson, we've covered essential engine repair techniques, including the correct procedures for removing, disassembling, and reassembling engines, as well as repairing internal engine components such as pistons, valves, and camshafts. These repair skills are crucial for anyone preparing for the ASE certification test and are fundamental to the daily work of automotive technicians.